What do the 2026 Las Vegas Raiders look like now after the 2026 NFL Draft? That and much more in today's episode. Let's jump into it. Welcome, everybody, to Top Dog Coverage. It's your boy Dirty with your boy C-Dub. If you guys have not yet, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, follow us at Top Dog Coverage on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, Spotify, Apple. Hit those 5 stars, leave a comment. Let us know what you guys think at topdogcoverage@gmail.com, and we will read it on the show. But today we are going to be talking about the Las Vegas Raiders. The 2026 NFL Draft has come, has gone. 2026 NFL free agency is still here, but we're in like what, C-Dub, the 7th, 8th wave here, right?
Yeah, it's getting towards the end. I mean, we got training camp right around the corner, so.
We do indeed. I mean, you think about it, we're already banking our way halfway through May here, so everybody's getting ramped up. Rookie mini camps have started already, so we want to get into exactly what the number 1 pick of the NFL draft was, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders. So they had a lot of work to do. They have a 5% owner that is a Super Bowl champion 6 times. So there's a lot going over in Las Vegas with some roulette, some red, some black, and they're gambling on their own ways of doing things. So
I thought Brady won 7, didn't he?
Did he win 7?
I think he's the only player because he has more Super Bowls than any of the teams.
Is that the Bucks was that 7th one?
Yeah, I believe that's. Okay. I believe so.
Nah, that's not bad.
I think because the Cowboys have 6, don't they? Or the Steelers have 6?
I think so. Let me use my really loud keyboard real quick, okay?
Yeah. Tap into the Martians; they'll hear you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Brady won 7.
You are right, sir. The correction.
Okay.
That's why
I don't want them to come for you in the comment section, bro. I'm not.
They've already come for me in the comment section.
the gold. He got 7. You said 6. You idiot. You
know. Yeah. They've already come for me in the comment section. Comment below, guys. Let us know what you guys think of how much of an idiot I can be. You guys have heard this before.
Well, just like our Seahawks take too. From last
season, we got ripped a new one for that one. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But before we do anything, you want to jump into some news that we possibly have not covered yet?
For show.
Doing that for show. Okay. Time for the news, baby. The news is brought to you by Norse-Hall.com. If you guys want some hot sauce or some mead, yes, some capital MEAD, some honey wine based out of West Virginia, go to Norse-Hall.com. And I would actually have a link inside the description of this video because I actually just got in contact with our sponsor. And there's a little glitch going on with the website. No big deal. So he gave us another way to go purchase your hot sauce so you guys can get it. So Norse-Hall.com, but I will give you guys the actual sales.com website description so you guys can make your orders. Okay. All right. C-Dub, am I starting or are you starting?
Nope, I'll start.
Okay.
And I'm going to go to Cleveland, ? Or is it LA? Because the Chargers and tight end David Njoku have agreed to a deal. So David Njoku recently visited the Chargers. That summit clearly went well as a contract agreement is now in place between Los Angeles and the veteran tight end. So team and player have finalized a 1-year deal. Ian Rappaport of NFL.com or NFL Network reports. He adds this pact has a maximum value of $8 million, and after 9 years in Cleveland, Njoku's next career phase has been lined up. So the tight end position has seen plenty of turnover this spring. In the case of the Chargers, Will Dissly and Tucker Fisk are still on the market deep into the offseason. Tyler Conklin, meanwhile, left via free agency. Los Angeles added Charlie Kohler in March, but the team did not select any tight ends during the draft, which left the door open to a deal for Njoku, and one is now in place. So over the course of his Browns tenure, Njoku regularly found himself atop the tight end depth chart. The former first-rounder battled injuries and inconsistencies along the way, but he secured a big money deal in 2022. Njoku's best season came 1 year later, which was an 81 catch, 882 yards, 6 touchdown stat line, and resulted in a Pro Bowl nod. So his play time dropped in 2024 and again in 2025. However, and the Browns have Harold Fannin Jr. in place as a starting tight end for the foreseeable future at their standout rookie campaign. So it's been clear since February Njoku would not be coming back to Cleveland.
Let us know what you guys think about this Njoku deal for the Chargers in the comments. We're interested to hear that. That is a big deal. Like having a specific quarterback over there, like Flacco, throwing the ball, he was eating. He was getting yards.
That one season, yeah.
Yeah. And it's sad that somebody so talented can't really stay on a team, because he does have talent. He can do both the blocking game and the catch game. So I'm interested to see how he will fare over there, knowing that they have Gadsden Jr. over there. Maybe they can utilize both tight ends. I don't know. It would be interesting.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good move for him, especially with Herbert. Give him some more weapons. I know we needed to address the interior offensive line, which they did through the draft, and we'll get into it more when we get to the Chargers. But I think it's a really good move. It's low cost. It's only a 1 year deal, and Njoku finally leaves Cleveland and can see what the sunshine is in LA.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm going to take you to somewhere where the sunshine comes from, which is a yellow, black and yellow, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Steelers and Chris Boswell agreed to an extension. So it became clear that Chris Boswell was among the members of the Steelers who were seeking a raise. So no new deal was worked out with Pittsburgh longtime kicker in 2025, but an agreement is now in place. Team and player have agreed to an extension, according to Adam Schefter. This is a 4-year, $28 million deal. Boswell was set to enter the 2026 as a pending free agent, but that will no longer be the case. So the deal contains $14.7 million guaranteed. So Schefter notes that Boswell is under contract through 2030, meaning today's news consists of 4 new years being added to the final one of the 2-time Pro Bowlers' existing pact. A raise is indeed forthcoming as a result of this extension as well. So Boswell was previously attached to an average annual value of $5 million. But this new pack checks in at a $7 million per year. That AAV mark matches the price point Brandon Aubrey recently reached with the Cowboys on his own in 4/28. That would be April 28. So subscribe to the channel and let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What do you think?
Boz tied with Obbs?
Yeah,
highest mark?
Obbs and Bods.
Wow. Interesting. I mean, I remember he was he's always been a pretty solid kicker throughout his career. I think it was 2 years ago he was the #1 fantasy option kicker. I think it was. I mean, it was 2 seasons ago, maybe it was 3. I don't know, but I mean, he's always been pretty solid. Just Steelers offense has always been up and down. So
yeah, shout out to Alec M. Yeah, richest kicker deal. I mean, there's a lot going on here. A lot, they're being valued a lot more, Alec. And, you really don't know which direction some of these teams are going to take, because these are some of the guys that could be very much in the red zone, and they just can't get into the red zone. So they rely on these kickers. And look, they're doing what they have to do to make sure that they can score points. So,
well, not only that, but to think about the way the kickoff rule and all that set up, like it's very easy to get in field goal range. And these kickers are hitting consistently from deep, 50+ yards, 60s, 6 yarders. And, Boswell, I mean, he's shown that he has a strong leg. So,
yeah, absolutely. He's clutch too, man. He's made some really good. So, I mean, he's been over there a minute too. So,
yep. That is. All right. I will kick it to a place that we enjoy very much.
I see what you did there.
Indianapolis. So, coming up in trade rumors before the draft, Kenny Moore had asked to be moved. So, following draft weekend, the veteran Colts slot cornerback asked the team for a release, and the Colts have granted it, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. So, a former Pro Bowler, Moore's been in place in Indianapolis since Chris Ballard's first offseason as GM in 2017. As pricey Colts DB contracts have emerged over the past 1.5 years, Moore's $10 million per year deal will be coming off the books. The Colts have since announced the separation. This came after Moore was absent for the start of voluntary workouts last month. Ballard had stuck by his core for many years, with Moore being a central component in the GM's nucleus. Moore joined defensive tackle Grover Stewart, tight end Mo Alley-Cox, and long snapper Luke Rhodes as the only Colts left from Ballard's first offseason in charge. Now the veteran cornerback follows longtime Colts Braden Smith. Zaire Franklin and Michael Pittman Jr. out the door this offseason.
All right. I'm going to take it to the Midland, Minnesota. Let me go to Minnesota, where the Vikings are signing wide receiver Jauan Jennings. One of the top remaining free agents has finally found a new home. According to Adam Schefter, the wide receiver Jauan Jennings has reached an agreement with the Vikings. Schefter adds that is a 1 year worth up to $13 million. The receiver will earn $8 million in base pay. While the player's price point was believed to be misaligned with his value, it was eventually understood that he'd settle for a modest deal once the compensatory. Here we go. We always do this. We messed it up. Pick formula was no longer in effect. Indeed, he garnered his first visit with the offseason days after the draft when he met with the Vikings. It took an additional week, but the wide receiver finally completed a deal with Minnesota. So PFR's number 18 ranked free agent Jennings market never emerged as he expected. The 49ers were initially interested in re-signing the veteran, but his potential return took a major hit when the organization pivoted to likes of Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, and the second rounder, De'Zhaun Stribling. So that's where it is. Vikings signing wide receiver Jauan Jennings. And you know what? Rizzo, you're going to have fun editing this one. So all of our news, in case anybody wonders, all of our news is put into little short clips. So when we mess up, he really has to dig in. So he might just take your clip and put it in there now. So
he's earning the check, right?
He really is.
All right. Let's kick it to Denver, where there's been some news regarding their GM. So as on May 8th, as expected, George Patton has landed a new agreement in Denver. The Broncos general manager signed a 5-year deal on Friday. Info Network's Tom Pelissero reports. Before the 2025 season had ended, a Patton extension emerged as a likely goal for the Broncos. The veteran had 1 year remaining on his contract prior to today's news. Now, though, Patton is on the books through 2030 on a deal which has since been confirmed via team announcement. Head coach Sean Payton has, of course, wielded considerable power since arriving in 2023. The ex-Saints Super Bowl winner has formed a strong tandem with Payton. And in February, he expressed confidence in agreement would be worked out. The Patton-Payton, if you will, pairing will continue for years to come as the Broncos look to build off their recent success, which includes earning the AFC's number 1 seed this past year. So Payton, who spent the entire Saints career working with one GM and Mickey Loomis, is happy to have Patton in place for the long haul. This is straight from Coach. He said, I said, man, I consider myself very fortunate to have been one general manager in New Orleans who I would call a very close friend and a great working partner. And then to find another person like George, Payton said at the Broncos rookie minicamp via Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. I know that we both feel the same way. We love the grind together. He's a tremendous asset and all, and he's very good at what he does. I think we complement each other. I am super excited for him. I said that to you guys at the Combine. It was just a matter of time. We think alike in a lot of cases. So Coach Payton gives him the, proverbial thumbs up for signing his extension.
All right, I'm gonna end the news with some good news on my end. So my New York Jets and running back Breece Hall agreed to an extension. So Breece Hall's Jets tenure will continue beyond 2026. Thank God. The franchise tagged running back has worked out an extension agreement with New York. Team and player have struck a 3-year deal. According to Jordan Schultz, he adds this extension is worth up to $45.75 million instead of only being in place for one more season due to the tag. Hall will now be on the books through 2028. Ian Rappaport notes that $45.75 million represents the base value of his deal. As such, Hall's average annual value checks in at $15.25 million. That figure ranks third in the NFL among running backs, behind only Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey. The position's landscape could change soon with Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson each eligible for extensions of their own this offseason. In any case, Hall's outlook has now become much clearer. So I thought that was a really good, positive way to start your 2026 season with the New York Jets. If you guys have comments, comment down below and make sure you subscribe to the channel. That was the smoothest sneeze I've seen in a long time, C-Dub. That was very well done.
Thanks. Thank you. Appreciate it.
But yeah, that concludes the news. And yeah, I mean, you guys have any comments or anything like that, you put it on down there. So, look, Alec kind of chimed in there. Connor Hayward, glad the Raiders have a vet FB. We were talking about the Steelers before. So, and we are talking about the Raiders in a little bit. So, yeah, we're going to get into that in a little bit. So a nice little full back going over to Las Vegas. And again, another point from Alec is Jennings, he's an okay number 2, but hasn't been that consistent in production. Yeah, he showed flashes, and, he showed speed. He shows a lot of different things that he can do. But the reason why he's not really getting, that paycheck is because there are better options out there. And obviously no other teams really were chasing after him. They kind of, waited it out. So,
yeah, I think for me, when I watched Jauan Jennings, I would agree that 2, maybe even a 3, but I think the reason that you bring him in is due to his physicality in the run game. Like he's a really good blocker, and he gets under people's skin. I mean, it was the Browns who called him a hoe, right? So
yeah,
you bring that nastiness over there in the receiver room. So
I think I forgot about that.
Yeah, so why not add a menace to the receiver room, pair him with JJ over there.
And Alec, rich deal for Hall for sure. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that O-line can get going and they can give him
Who
a little
pays
bit of
running backs nowadays anyways? I mean, come on.
Losers. Bunch of losers.
There's a new stud running back comes out every year. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Nah, shouts out to Breece Hall. He's solid.
Gotta love him.
He deserves the bag.
All right, so yeah, let's jump into some Las Vegas news, man. I mean, let's go over a couple things that they did last year. Obviously, the first round.
Set the tables, baby.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they had the first overall pick, which means they just weren't doing good. They had Chip Kelly there last year, along with what was the head coach's name again? I'm blanking on it.
Are you talking about Pete Carroll?
So Pete Carroll was over there, took Geno Smith with him to the promised land, whatever promised land that is, and just didn't work out. Chip Kelly tried another stint in the NFL, and that didn't work out either, So they still have many weapons, including Brock Bowers, but they just couldn't get the ball rolling. But their kicker was solid, as always.
Can I cover a couple of those points
sure.
That you talked about? So last year in points for, they ranked 32nd with 14.2 points per game. Yards per game, they were also 32nd with 241 yards per game.
Okay.
Right. So that offense was just completely atrocious. And obviously they fired a lot of people. Brady wasn't having any of that. So what happens next?
One would say.
Yeah. So what happens next? You insert Clint Kubiak. This is the same guy that made the Saints look unstoppable 2 seasons ago. Goes to Seattle and helps revamp Sam Darnold and gets them to the ship paired with an elite defense, right? So if your main issue was offense, because in defense they were 25th in points against, so they gave up 25.4 a game, and yards allowed per game they were 15th, so middle of the pack with 322. So you have some defensive pieces. You try to get rid of Max Crosby, that doesn't work out. So you get him and his 1.5 knees or whatever. He comes back, right? And so you have a bunch of pieces on defense, and then you use this draft to add more youth and speed to the defense, which we'll get into. But
yeah,
I think inserting Clint Kubiak, I think he's a good leader, and I think he's a great offensive mind. So as long as you score more points, I think you win, is what I've heard. So
I've usually heard the person that scores the most points wins the game. That's just me throwing it out there. Kind of goes with the percentage, But yeah,
wasn't Pete Carroll's wasn't his son the offensive line coach last year or something like that?
Yeah, and I also heard that when he wasn't in meetings as well, that's when they got most of the production done. So I don't know what that says about anything, but that's
nepotism, right? Nepo baby.
Yeah. So there it is.
But, I mean, but isn't Pete Carroll defensive mind? Like, go coach some defense or something. Like, I don't know. Why are we putting him in offensive line?
But
why are we putting your son in offensive line? Like, I don't know. Come on. Like, if you can't coach O-line, then don't coach O-line.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, my friend.
Seal his fate. But I mean, he looks super old out there last year. Like, I know he is old, but like,
yeah,
he's the most energetic vampire
Yeah,
never
that
seen, I guess.
chewing the bubble gum, man. Like he looked like he was struggling last year.
Yes, jaw of steel.
Yeah, it really is. Like that dude, if he took a left hook, he's standing still. So that dude's not going down easy. Yeah. All right, yeah, I'm gonna go over a couple things that they did on free agency. So some of the big hires here that they took in free agency, they picked up Tyler Linderbaum, Kwity Paye, Jalen Naylor, and Eric Stokes as well, but we'll get into that. But so Tyler Linderbaum, they upgrade the center. They spend a lot of money on this. They get a defensive end. They keep Crosby too, which is important to note because regardless of the terrible business deal that went down with Baltimore, they actually do keep a really solid player, regardless if it's kind of breaking the bank. They only have $8 million left in cap space over here. So, however you want to divvy that up, that's another thing that you could look at. And then Jalen Naylor, they a 3-year, $35 million, 23 million guaranteed. They still need, I would say, a solid wide receiver, not just a pass catcher. We know that it's Brock Bowers. We all understand that. But, you got rid of, was it Jacoby Myers over there? You still have Trey Tucker, but you're still kind of trying to see what you have out of Jack Bech, and a bunch of other things. And we'll get into some of that too. But we'll go over to Eric Stokes being signed, the cornerback. They retained him for a 3-year, $30 million and $20 million guaranteed. And they tendered Charles Snowden, the defensive end, Will Putnam, the center, and Tristan McCullum, the safety. So a couple guys, but obviously the Max Crosby thing didn't go through. They did trade for Taron Johnson from the Buffalo Bills, so they're trying to get that the corners solidified over there, which is great. So I'm not upset with what they're looking at right now, and then we can go through real quick their I gotta pull up. Do you have their draft pulled up right now? Can you?
Yeah. First pick they took quarterback Fernando Mendoza, right? Which we've known about that since the CFP championship and all that. Right. Yep. Second round, they take a safety, trade in Stoops, who also can play like slot corner and whatnot as well. At third round, you come back, you take a defensive end, edge rusher, Kieran Crawford from Auburn. Round 3, so their second third rounder, they take Dre Zoon the third, guard from Texas A&M. And then the first pick of the fourth round, they got a huge steal in Jermod McCoy, who fell due to medical reasons. So it doesn't look likely. It looks like he's going to need another surgery, so he might not play this year, but long term could work out because he has that knee injury and he still ran a 4.3 as a little pro day workout, so which is incredible. Then with the other fourth round pick, you take the running back Mike Washington Jr., who big boy's moving. He was 220, ran a 4.3 combine. Crazy when we were there. Everything lit up and everyone was going crazy with that. Come back in the fifth round, you take the safety from Arizona, Dalton Johnson. So you took Trayden Stooks and Dalton Johnson, so teammates. So you have some familiarity back there in the defensive backfield. And then in the another fifth rounder, you took Ezekiel Massis, cornerback from California. Round 6, you add another receiver to the mix, Malik Benson, a receiver from Oregon, 6th round. And then 7th rounder, your last pick, you take Brandon Cleveland, the defensive tackle from NC State. So, you add a lot of youth, a lot of talent within this team to pair with those free agent moves. But, I think it really all starts with the number 1 pick, Fernando Mendoza, right? You're really building a solid nucleus around this kid. You bring in Kirk Cousins, kind of man the ship for however long they deem is necessary till you can let him loose.
Yeah, I think they made some really good depth moves here, right? Not saying that obviously nobody knows if Fernando Mendoza is going to be starting. Now, I'm going to say this right now. The one thing that the Raiders have not done, and I will stand by this, they have not been able to get a quarterback solidified under their scheme. They have not been able to develop a quarterback. They have not been able to move forward with a solidified quarterback here. This is very, very important to see what they can do with this kid instead of ruin him. Okay.
Well, I mean, it depends on what your opinion of Derek Carr is.
I'm gonna say this right now.
They drafted him and had him forever, and then they cut him off for obviously. I'm not the biggest Derek Carr guy. I'll tell you
he was not good until Gruden came in.
He was at least a starting caliber quarterback. Would you say that?
Yeah,
functional, right?
Yeah, functional.
You weren't gonna win many games with them, but chances are, if you had a lot of talent around him, you weren't gonna lose them.
But that doesn't mean he was developed properly. I understand what you're saying. I completely get what you're saying. Yeah. Like, I'm just saying right now,
10-year career there.
Yeah. I would say this though. I think personally that if you do have Kirk Cousins right there, let the kid sit back until you realize that Kirk Cousins is really messing up. That way he can get a real feel for the game. Look, even I'm not comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, but it's just the situation. He's not, and Patrick Mahomes is not a number one overall. Understandable.
Is it because they both wore 15? Is this what we're doing?
No, we're not doing. I didn't even know he had number 15. Okay. But Patrick Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith. Smartest thing you could do. Okay. Who? Exactly. Who are you, an owl? So I think that is kind of one of the best things. And of course, you're going to have somebody. He's one overall. He's got to play. And I hear all the time, if he's a first round pick, he's got to play. First year, he's got to be a starter. You don't know that until you're in the building and you're making these moves for the team. Okay, so I would say if I want this kid to succeed, they did. Look, you made a lot of picks. Okay, you had a lot of picks in this draft. I would say give the kid a chance. Not saying he has to sit the full year, but if he can start to develop under Kirk Cousins, if Kirk Cousins can actually be like, hey, look, this is the way you're going to look at the field, okay? Kirk Cousins knows what he signs up for. This is supposed to be the leader and the general.
This time he did.
This time he did. But Clint Kubiak coming in is going to make a very good run game out of this. And if he could do it with Sam Darnold back when he was in San Francisco and then do it again in Seattle with him as well, I think Fernando could be very comfortable with Bowers. I think he could be very comfortable with Trey Tucker, but I still think they need that number one. And let's just see if Jack Bech could be that number one with Fernando. I'm very curious to see if this can just don't throw him to the wolves. I don't want to see this happen again. I think that they made really, really good draft picks. I think they can have, they solidified two corners here. They just picked another corner. Yeah, he's going to need surgery, but this has potential to actually look like a really good defensive back room here. Like give it a year or two here. You know what I mean? Let's see if this kid is healthy. So
yeah, I think expectations should be tempered. Obviously, his first year.
Yeah, absolutely. So like when I'm looking at this, you have Dante Thornton and Jack Bech on that left side. I mean, they'll switch it around. They did get Brendan Rice. Was that Jerry Rice's son, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they also paid a big money to Jalen Naylor coming over from Minnesota, who had some pretty big games when Justin Jefferson in play. So I don't think they're operating as him being their number one, but he definitely adds to that team and gives you another element, whether he plays in the slot, outside.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be JSN like, but I do think now that he gets a chance to kind of shine, he could step up and be a guy there for sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to find out what their so this I actually do like the depth that they have here, because last year they didn't have a lot of depth in this wide receiver room. So they did make a 6th round pick. Not saying that this class in the wide receiver bit in the 2026 NFL draft was that good. It wasn't. Like if it took a huge cliff fall after certain names, and I think we all understand that. You know what I mean? But what I will say is, looking at it, where was I at? And there I was. All right. Okay. So you have Jack Bech, Trey Tucker, Jalen Naylor. Let's just throw those out there. Don't sleep on Dante Thornton, I would say. Okay.
Size speed combo demon there.
6'5", 205. It's a big man. Okay. I'm still interested to see what this dude could do. Okay. So I want to see either Jack Bech or Thornton maybe try to compete for a number one. Not saying that they're going to become one, but maybe they can find a number one wide receiver at one point. But they got Spencer Burford out of San Francisco, and they got Tyler Linderbaum. I talked about that, but they did lose their right guard, so now they have Jackson Powers Johnson from the 2024 draft, and they have DJ Glaze in the right tackle. In the left tackle, they have Colton Miller from first rounder out of 2018. So what?
No, he was hurt most of last year, so
yeah.
It's good to have him back.
They have a lot of catching up to do here because the offensive line just wasn't good, last year. You know what I mean? You could see it in the run game. You could see it in a lot of. I'm not saying the offense coordinator was good or anything like that, but Clint Kubiak, I'll agree with Alec here. Kubiak does have big plans to use Naylor. It seems like he's a big run guy. Okay, like I think choosing Mike Washington Jr. here, okay, and having Genty, that's a lot of speed. That's a lot of speed and a lot of talent back there. Now, I'm not saying that Junior is one of the best runners. We've seen his vision down the field. It's not really that good. If we're going to be, he's fast.
He wasn't ultra productive in college.
No, he wasn't. And we gotta temper that down a little bit. But on the other side, I would say that if Kubiak can come with a really good plan, he can move the ball a lot with just these running backs and Bowers. Okay, they have potential. Their defense had potential to shut down some of their own guys in their own division. Talk about Kansas City, talking about Denver for a while, talk about the Chargers. Like they've put up some fights. So if they could win some of those games, they can win some of these other games. I'm not saying that they're gonna, be playoff contenders. I really, honestly, don't think that. But and then you got.
I think the three teams they beat were the Patriots, Titans, and Chiefs. Chiefs in Week 18. So it was the Chefs. Let's be real. It wasn't Chiefs. It was the Chefs.
Yeah. And I think if you're looking over here at the tight end spot, right, if we're being honest, they did draft the left guard, Trey Zune. But if you are looking over at the tight end spot, you got Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer still, okay? Not like he was a bad draft pick, but you got Ian Thomas out of Carolina. I think he was there last year too, right? And then Carter Runyon. But this is the thing. They actually have some pretty good depth over there in tight end. So I wouldn't be surprised if they even ran. I don't know if Kubiak does this, but just looking at the depth chart and the ability of what these guys have, they could actually run some 3 tight end spots in there. If they want this run game to go to the way they want it to, and they have the fullback there, Connor Hayward over there. So from Pittsburgh. So that's a hefty boy at 5'11", 6 foot, 230, coming over trucking people.
Yeah, no, I think you can definitely. I mean, especially with Kubiak, it's more of a wide zone scheme. So I maybe you do see some 13 personnel. Definitely see some 12 personnel, which is one running back, three tight ends, or one running back, 2 tight ends. But I mean, with that, you could line Bowers up anywhere, right? He's just an offensive weapon. You can line him up outside. You can line him up in the slot. So I think it does this offense, depending on how he wants to, operate. He could have a bunch of different personnel groupings. They can really keep the defense on their toes too. So, and it would make sense to get a lot of these tight ends involved because he's a really good tight end on his own. I mean, and Bowers is just kind of an elite talent. So you have a great 1-2 punch there, tight end.
Yeah, I believe that as well. So so kind of looking at that, they do have. I think that they could really solidify themselves if they do get. They have. Again, I'll go over it again. They have Jalen Naylor in that slot area. And one of our comments that we do have here, Alec best as a slot wide receiver. I'll push back on that. Look, this guy's 6 foot, 6'1", 215. That's a big boy. You can utilize him in the slot, but at the same end, you're not going to put Naylor going out to get the ball at 190 pounds. You need somebody that's bigger that has another 25 pounds, to go grab the ball. And Best could be a target monster. Absolutely, he can be. So I'm interested to see how that goes. But on the other end, I still think they need a solidified wide receiver number 1 here. And I think that could really round out this offense. But I do like the direction they took because I think it wasn't just a small splash. It was a big splash of a lot of different things that could potentially put this team on notice. Maybe not for the playoffs, but like, hey, we're here.
Yeah, I don't know. I get where you're coming from in that piece, but I mean, I think for me personally, with the money that these top receivers are making nowadays, I think for Kubiak, he wants to kind of focus on Brock Bowers, make him the focal point, his JSN of the offense, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Because one, it's a tight end position, so he's not going to get paid as much. And then you just have a plethora of, role receivers where you don't necessarily need that number one, but they all make their certain plays where they can, right?
Yeah.
That might be more of a cost savings thing long term, because obviously you got the rookie deal for Fernando Mendoza on the rookie deal. That's where you kind of push all your chips and go all in, right? But I think either way, I mean, if you go out and get a number one receiver, that's great. But for me, I think I would really try to focus on Brock Bowers with the kind of elite talent that he is. I want to focus on him and Ginty in terms of the receiving game. I don't really care who's that receiver. I mean, you got some talent, you got some dudes there, but I personally don't know if you don't need. I don't think you need number one in this type of offense.
I think you do. I say that because it's like, if you see that as a fan, you're focusing on, and I agree with you. Like look at Bowers, utilize what you can utilize out of him, and Genty and Mike Washington Jr. You know what I mean? Like, use that. I understandably, but if you're looking at that as a fan, so are defenses. You know what I mean? So I would say, yes, get a number one wide receiver. Understandably, that the pay is out of control right now. So you're going to have to either draft one or trade for one, or whatever it is with, but I would say it would just help them get over a hump that it's just kind of like, I agree with you though, that, utilize the tight end, utilize the running back, but defense are going to be looking at that too.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm focused on it, because if I look back 2 seasons ago when he was the Saints offensive coordinator, right? And I was writing a few articles at the time, and with that, Chris Olave never really had a big game. He never really got a lot of targets. It was always a different receiver that popped off. Rashid Shaheed, Jawan Johnson, the tight end, got involved a lot. So the ball was always spread around to a lot of different guys. Yeah, you didn't really see a single person getting majority of the targets until JSN.
Yeah,
in Seattle. And I think this just has to do with the talent and the guy that he has, right? So I think with Kubiak, you have a lot of different things you can do scheme wise, where you're not forced to focus on one individual guy. Like, a bunch of different guys can pop off, which is also going to keep the defense on their toes. Like, I don't think the defense is going to hone in and stop it, because he can change and get the ball going to different places. So
understandable, makes sense. We'll check in with some of the comments here. You got Lorenzo, thanks for checking in. I'm a top dog. Hey, we like top dogs around here. We absolutely like top dogs. So shout out to Lorenzo. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button there. So yeah, I mean, with that, I think that kind of solidifies the offense. You want to move on to the defense here, see what we got?
Yeah, I mean, this was a little bit middle of the pack. They weren't great in terms of points against, but in terms of yards given up. Now, that was probably due to the ineptitude of the offense, right? So it's a little bit skewed on that end. But you have some guys. We'll talk about the holdovers, right? You keep Max Crosby. You have Eric Stokes. You have Jeremy Chin, Isaiah Palomino, Darian Porter, who was a third rounder in last year's. He's long arms, tall, lots of speed. So you got that. You need a running mate for Max Crosby. I mean, you got Thomas Booker the fourth lined up at the starting position there. But you also have Malcolm Kuntz, so he can get on the field, more of a speed rusher. Just needs to be more consistent. And you got some DTs, right? And you bring over Kwity Paye. We'll start talking about the newcomers, right? Kwity Paye come from Indianapolis, kind of really underwhelmed over in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah.
He was a pretty decent edge rusher coming out of Michigan, and then just really never put it together in Indianapolis. So it was a cheap deal. We'll see if he can figure it out, and they can get, the max play for that. And then you bring over 2 former Bulldog linebackers, Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean. I think it's great because the linebacker pay was not great in Las Vegas last year, right? So 2 veterans, 2 guys that have known each other, that played together before, and they're reuniting in Las Vegas. And they can really be the leaders of that defense. And you have more depth at the position now. Tommy Eckenberg, the 5th rounder from a couple seasons ago, and then Cody Lindenberg, 7th rounder from last year, right? So you got some talent there. Then again, you added all these pieces in the secondary, right? The Trayden Stukes, the Dalton Johnson, Jermon McCoy, the Masses, the cornerback. So you got a lot of youth here, and I think this is a defense that's continuing to ascend. Their new DC Rob Leonard. I feel he's been with Vegas for a while Vegas for a while now, right? Since 2022, I think.
I believe so.
So,
yeah, I think I like these draft picks. You know, they went defensive tackle, linebacker, you know, corner, safety, or you know what I mean? Like they got a couple things here that they can just sit back, let the game slow down for them. And this is why I say there's a potential to where it could really pop off at one point and be like, yo, we don't need these guys in right now. You know what I mean? Let the game slow down a little bit. And they have these kids rocking and rolling ready behind all the, you know, bigger guys, you know, Kwity Paye, Quay Walker, Kobe Dean, right? These guys are just sitting and chilling, you know, Jonah Lalu, you know, the defensive tackle over there. He's got somebody behind him that he can teach and he can, you know, show in there. Jeremy Chin's got Dalton Johnson behind him. You know, Eric Stokes got Jermon McCoy, just that's going to be sitting there after he gets, you know, after he gets done, you know. So and what if they switch Stokes to another side or Jermon McCoy to another side, and they already got their, you know, their corners ready to rock or roll, say he comes back a lot faster. So I'm excited to see how this goes.
Well, with Stukes too, Trayden Stukes, the second rounder, he can play anywhere in the back end. He can play a free safety, strong safety, nickel. He can even line up and play some corner. Like, he's a really versatile defender. So I think it gives you just another element, another piece, so you can be creative with your defense.
Yeah, and you know, afterwards you always get these UDFAs that come in. You know, it doesn't happen too often that people get. They might get signed for depth, but you know, you definitely do want that competition there. You do want that. You know, you want the dog getting out of people. You know what I mean? And you want people to step up to the plate. So it's interesting. I think that there's a new. I don't know. I call me crazy, but I think. Thank you. Appreciate that. I think that Tom Brady might have his hands on Fernando here. Like, yo, this is the way I did it.
Inappropriate.
Could be, depending.
We've seen what he does with his son. We've seen him operate with his son, so it's concerning.
It can be. Well, he's a grown man, so if he look, hey,
maybe that's what he wants.
That's all I'm saying. Just let us know, Fernando. If you're in trouble, let us know. Okay. But yeah, I mean, overall, overall, we'll just we'll run through this. You know, special teams here. You have AJ Cole as the and Matt. I'm sorry, the punter, and then you have Matt Gay as the place kicker. What happened to Carlson? Where did he go?
I don't know. He either got cut or his deal was up.
I feel like he was a pretty good kicker.
Yeah, I think he was decent, but I don't know. He ain't here. But you know, their kicker they signed the undrafted free agent. I'm gonna completely butcher his name. Was this Kansei Matsuzawa?
That was
you know
really
the story
good
behind this guy.
No, I don't, but I was actually just really proud of you right now. So I want to, dude, not before we move on, I want to acknowledge that. That's what I want to acknowledge first. So, all right, go ahead.
Well, about this guy, he was a kicker at Hawaii.
Say it right.
It's pretty.
Say it right. Hawaii. Thank you.
All right. And he was kicker there, right? But this guy taught himself how to kick field goals through YouTube. He watched YouTube videos to learn how to kick properly. And
no way.
Yeah, this is a guy that we targeted for the Dream Bowl. We were trying to get him, but unfortunately we were not able to. But yeah, he completely learned how to place kick through YouTube videos.
Nice. Not bad at all. All right.
Fun fact for you guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, hey, some people learn better than others in certain situations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good. Well, very interested to see what the Las Vegas Raiders have left. I misspoke before too. Special teams was spent $8 million in cap space. The team actually has 24.3 in cap space, but I think that kind of wraps it up with talking about the Raiders depth chart and
Hold
what
on.
they have.
Did we talk about the long snapper?
Who do you have for long snapper?
Alex Ward. They signed him in free agency, I believe.
From
Central Florida. I think he was with the Rams.
Okay.
He was with the Rams in I think 2023, and then he was waived in November, and he was signed in Vegas. Mr. Alex Ward, the long snapper of Central Florida, which he also has some competition. So they brought in Tyler Duzansky from Penn State.
Yo, you are knocking these names out today, my man. Like, just
thanks, man. It's a coffee.
That'll work. Home run.
Yeah, it's working.
Word. Okay. Well, shout out to Alex Ward, because if you know anything about Top Dog coverage, we love giving shout outs to long snappers, and lots of love to long snappers.
Love, baby.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's LSL. So, but yeah, you got the Trey Tucker on the punt returns, and Tariq Young from Seattle, and sometimes Dylan Lau. So we will find out exactly how that is all going to shake out. Mini camps came in, and camp is going to be starting. So a lot of these people are going to be cut little by little, but we are excited to see what the Raiders have to offer. And I
gotta put you on the spot.
Yeah, shoot.
So we talked about Vegas, what they've done, what their last season looked like, all the moves that they made.
Mm-hmm.
What grade would you give them on their offseason?
On their offseason?
As in totality, as a whole.
Yeah.
You're paying Linderbaum $27 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
You spend, I think, a truckload of cash on Naylor. You draft Mendoza number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other moves that they made.
Yeah, but they also took a guard in this. They took a guard from San Francisco, which is a heavy run game, which Kubiak likes, and then they drafted somebody behind.
Similar styles. Yeah. Similar schemes.
Yep. So I would say that they set themselves up for the future. So right now it's not going to look too sexy, but I am going to give them a B+ here. Actually, maybe even closer to an A. So I'm in that kind of and especially getting Jermod McCoy in that 4th round, the top of the 4th. Like, yeah, I think they, I'll give them the A. I'll give them the A, because it's not showing right now through the action. But yeah, I'll say that they're setting themselves up. Nothing's going to look really sexy right off the bat, but it doesn't have to look sexy. It just has to work. So, yeah,
it's better if it looks sexy, but yeah,
a little flashy there, right? I'll give them the A. So I'll reverse Uno card back onto you, sir. What are you gonna give them?
Mine was A from the beginning. Like,
really,
I first off, home run hire with Clint Kubiak.
Yeah.
I think that's great. He brings over his guy at OC, Andrew Janocko, who was the quarterback coach for New Orleans when they were there together. So I like those first moves. Start right off the bat, right? Because you want to address the offense, you want the new scheme, and you want the right players for that. Then you make the right moves to set up a great incubus for your quarterback, right? You bring over Captain Kirk. You spend a truckload of money on Tyler Linderbaum, right? You get another weapon, Jalen Naylor. You bring in a guard, and then in the draft, you take quarterback. You're in the number 1 spot. You don't want to be back, right? How hard is it to find a quarterback at the top? To be in that position, right? So you take your quarterback. Now you give him time to develop. You give him a runway to develop. You spend a lot of money on free agents. You shake down the Ravens so they renege on the deal. So you get Crosby back. Phenomenal, right? And then you get some really good value at these picks, right? A good 2nd rounder with the Trayden Stukes, who's extremely versatile. Jermod McCoy, it's a lottery pick, right? If it doesn't pan out, it's only 4th rounder. If he does, he had top 10 talent. And, just one would argue he's one of the top corners in this class.
Yeah.
So rolling the dice, if you will, on McCoy, see if he can be a great player. You bring in Dalton Johnson, has familiarity with Stukes and that back end. You got bringing over another edge rusher. You add some more depth at nose tackle, and you add some more. You add another piece of running back, right? So you don't have to just rely on Ashton Jinty running in the back of his lineman, and giving him 250 carries plus.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't have to be the focal point. You can spread those carries around and make them both more efficient. Right. So I really enjoy what they've done with their offseason. So they're definitely an A in my book.
That's more than fair. Comment below, subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you guys think. The Raiders, we will find out in 2026 what they have to offer, but huge upgrade in many, many different spots on this team. And Las Vegas is, I think they can shock a couple different teams this year. Not saying they're going to make the playoffs or anything like that, but they can definitely make some shocking moments, and I wouldn't bet against them on every front like you could have last year. I mean, that's a fair take.
Yeah. Okay. And I have an enormously large amount of Raiders fans in my life. It's 2, but it just seems like that's really a lot.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
So I got to shout out Colin Padilla and Matthew Mills. Those are my resident Raider fans. If you liked what we spoke about, cool. If you don't, get over it.
Ooh, get over it. Hashtag get over it. I will also give a shout out. I don't know his name, but while the Jets did play the Raiders at one point, I was able to meet up with one of the guys that go absolutely crazy, dress up as a Raider, as Raiders do, right? Mm-hmm. Raiders fans dress up. They have some of the best costumes. And I was really... I loved what this guy stood for. He actually had a charity for kids that actually get bullied. So he stood up for that. They took lots of donations for a bunch of things. All the way at that time, it was Oakland still. But yeah. So yeah. And I mean, as crazy as he was in the stands, I think that he had a great cause, making sure that kids stay safe and bullying was not an option. So
you're talking about Raider Ralph, right?
I don't know. I don't know, dude. I don't remember his name, but
his name's Raider Ralph for sure.
Really? Okay. Well, yeah. I absolutely loved what he was doing.
What? Ooh, no, Wrecking Raider Ralph.
Wrecking dude, Raider this Ralph. Is getting better. Can we just add more adjectives to this? Like this is getting awesome.
That's
like
it. Three's way too much. Three's way too much.
Fair enough. But shout outs to Raider Nation. I mean, like, look, we had a huge lift from Raider Nation last year. They lifted our views up. They lifted our subscribers up. So shout outs to Raiders Nation. And we can't wait to see what you guys can bring to the table yet again in 2026 NFL. And Top Dog Coverage loves you guys. So follow us, Top Dog Coverage, on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and stay connected with us. Apple, Spotify, swipe up, hit 5 stars, leave the comments, and go to topdogcoverage.com and vote for your favorite team and email us at Top Dog Coverage.
Tell us your favorite Raider.
Yeah. Tell us.
All the ones that aren't Derek Carr.
All the ones that aren't Derek Carr, says the Saints fan. So yeah, but any last words to the Raiders fans before we exit?
I'm excited for the trajectory. You guys should be as well. You got a really good nucleus. You got the GOAT helping lead the ship, and be on the lookout for the schedule release this Thursday.
Mm-hmm. We have a ton more videos to come this week and next week, so stay tuned with us. But thank you for following. We love you guys. Make sure that you subscribe and follow the channel. It's your boy Dirty, your boy C-Dub. We are out. Peace.